Now coming to the next topic, oversubscription and under subscriptions. So come with the first under subscription. When the number of shares applied by the public is lesser than number of shares issued by the company, means offered by the company. So when the number of shares applied by the public is lesser than the number of shares offered by the company to the public for subscription. Is it clear? So under subscription of share means what? Number of shares applied by the public is less than the number of shares offered by the company for subscription. For example, number of shares offered by the public, number of shares offered by the public, offered by the company, number of shares offered by the company, offered means issued by the company, suppose 10,000 shares. 10,000 shares is offered by the company for public subscription. This much share is offered means issued by the company, offered by the company to the public for subscription. Is it clear? So number of share offered by the company is 10,000 and number of shares applied by the public is number of shares applied by the public is less than that. Suppose it is less than 10,000, suppose 9,000 shares. Public has applied for 9,000 shares, means send the application for 9,000 shares. So this is the case of under subscription. Number of shares issued by the company is 10,000 and number of shares applied by the public for subscription is 9,000, which is less than the number of share offered by the company. So this is called under subscription of share. This situation is called under subscription. So all the calculation of application, allotment, first call and second call will be done on the basis of number of share applied by the public. On the basis of that, all the entries will be done, right from application to the first and final call or second and final call. All calculation will be done on the basis of this number. Okay. So in the under subscription, it is clear, number of shares offered by the company. Offered means issued by the company. Okay. Issued by the company, which is called issued capital, company issue for public subscription. Suppose company 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each or 10 per share, 10 each or 10 per share, 10 per share is issued by the company for public subscription. It means issued capital is how much? Issued capital is 10,000 into 10, 1 lakh is the issued capital. This is the issued capital. Subscribed capital this is issued capital. Number of shares 10,000 of rupees 10 per share issued by the company for public subscription. Now, subscribed capital which is applied by the public for subscription. Suppose public has applied only for 9,000 shares. 9,000 shares of rupees 10 per share. Okay, public has applied for 9,000 share which is less than the issued capital, means the shares which is offered by the company to public, which is less than that number. So it is 90,000. So 9,000 shares of rupees 10 per share, it is 90,000. It is subscribed capital. So here the situation is what? Number of shares offered by the company for public subscription is 10, as I told you here, and number of shares applied by the public, subscribed by the public, is less than 10,000. Suppose it is 9,000 shares. Public has applied for 9,000 shares. So this situation is called, or this case is called, under subscription of shares. Shares are under subscribed by the public, and all the calculation in the journal entry right from application to the final call will be done on the basis of this number. All calculation will be based on this number. Okay, whether it's application money, allotment money, first call money, second call money. Suppose the application is 2 rupees, application money. Allotment is 3 rupees. First call 3, second and final call 2. Total 10. 2, 3, 2, 3, 3, 2, 10. So all the calculation at the time of application, how much money the company will get? 9,000 into 2 rupees. At the time of allotment, company will get 9,000 into 3. At the time of first call, 9,000 into 3. At the time of first and second and final call, 9,000 into 3. So this will be taken into account while calculating the amount. This will not be taken into consideration. This is only for information. All calculation will be based on number of shares applied by the public, because applied is less than the number of shares issued. Now, in case of over subscription, just opposite of under subscription, when the number of shares applied by the public is more than the number of shares offered by the company to the public for subscription. Is it clear? When the number of shares applied by the public is more than number of shares offered by the company for public subscription. For example, in the over subscription, you see what I have written over here, number of shares applied for is more than the number of shares offered to the public for subscription. It means number of shares applied for is more than number of shares offered to the public for subscription. Now see, number of shares offered by the company for public subscription, suppose it is 40,000. Company has offered to the public 40,000. It means issued capital is 40,000. Issued capital. I am talking about issued capital. In the notes to account, when we write about the issued capital, then we will write 40,000 shares of rupees 10 each. Suppose the value of share is 10 each. So issued capital is 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs is the issued capital. Okay, the issued capital is 4 lakhs. Detail is what? 40,000 shares of rupees 10 is issued, means offer to the public for subscription. Public will apply for that. But public has applied, subscribed capital is more. Subscribed by the public is, subscribed capital is more than that. Public, suppose public has applied 50,000 shares. 50,000 shares, or for say 80,000 shares. Public has applied for 80,000 shares. Okay? Public has applied for 80,000 shares. Number of shares applied by the public is 80,000. So, number of shares applied is more than the number of shares offered by the company. Number of shares applied is more than the number of shares offered by the company. This situation is called oversubscription. But company cannot do the allotment more than the number of shares offered by the company. Company cannot allot more than the offered number of shares, means maximum share. In this case, company can allot, that is 40,000. Company can allot up to 40,000 only. This is the restrictions. If the number of share applied is more and number of share offered by the company is less, then in that situation company cannot allot more than the number of share offered by the company. So here the number of share offered by the company is 40. So company cannot allot more than 40,000 shares to the public. Okay. So subscribed capital and issued capital. When the number of shares applied by the public is more and number of share offered by the company is less, then that situation is called oversubscription. In this situation, company do the allotment through the various way. Maybe company do the allotment on pro rata basis. Allotment may be done by the company. Allotment of shares. How the company do the allotment of shares in these situations? When the company has offered 40,000, issued 40,000 to the public, and public has applied for 80,000 shares. So company cannot allot more than 40,000. It is restricted up to this. So allotment may be pro rata basis. This allotment may be pro rata basis. Everyone will get the share. So those who have 40,000, those who applied for 80,000, applied number of shares applied. Here I am going to write number of shares applied. Number of shares applied. Number of shares allotted. Number of shares allotted. Number of shares allotted. Okay, allotted. These two things. Number of shares applied and number of shares allotted by the company. So it may be the number of shares applied is 80,000, application received is 80,000, and company will allot only 40,000. It means company has done the allotment on the basis of pro rata basis. Proportionate. Proportionate is what? 80,000 is to 40,000. So it is 2:1. On the basis of 2:1, those who applied for 2 shares, they will get 1 share. So on the pro rata basis, company may do the allotment. Those who applied for 2, they will get more. So here the allotment is on the basis of pro rata 2:1 basis. Those who applied for 2, they will get 1, means everybody will get the share on proportionate. Pro rata means proportionate basis. Pro rata means proportionate. So proportion is what? 40 is to 80 is to 40. 80,000 is to 40,000. It means it is 2:1. 2:1 indicate that those who apply for 2 shares, they will get 1 share. Okay. So this may be in this way the company may do the allotment on pro rata basis. On pro rata basis. So in the first way, number of shares applied is for 80,000 and number of shares applied by the number of shares allotted will be 40,000. Company has offered 80, company has offered 40, public has applied for 80,000 shares. So number of share applied is 80, but company will only allot 40,000. So here the company has done the allotment on the basis of pro rata. Pro rata allotment means proportionate allotment. Pro rata allotment. What is the proportion? Proportion is 80,000 is to 40,000. It means it is 2:1 on the basis of 2:1. Means those who applied for 2 shares, they will get 1 share. In this way company do the allotment. Another way of allotment may be, this is the one way. There are the different methods of allotment. In case of oversubscription, maybe company, those who applied for 10,000 shares, their application money will be rejected, no allotment. Those who applied for 10, to whom the company is not allotted any shares, their application money is rejected, and application money is refunded. Application is rejected, no allotment, and application money will be refunded. So first. Second, those who applied for, suppose those who applied for 40,000 shares, those who applied for, I am taking to 3 different category. Okay, 3 different category. So those who applied for 40,000 shares, to whom the company has allotted 30,000 shares. It means pro rata is what? Proportionate is what? 4:3. Those who apply for 3, they will get, those who applied for 4, they will get 3 shares. For 10,000 shares, those who applied for 10,000 shares, company has given them, those who applied for remaining is how much? 50 plus 30, 30,000 shares. Company has given them 10,000 shares, allotted them 10,000 shares. So here the proportion is what? 3:1. Proportionate is what? 3:1. 30,000 is to 10,000. 3:1 pro rata basis. So here the total number of shares allotted is 40. You see, and here you see the total number of shares applied by the public is 80. So in this way also the company do the allotment. Some of the shares, some of the application will be rejected, some application will be given full, some application will be given on pro rata basis. Another example, suppose another example, okay, how the company will do the allotment. Maybe company may do the allotment like this. The 10,000 shares in place of 10, I am writing over here 5,000. 5,000 shares are those who applied for 5,000 shares, their shares application is rejected and money is refunded. Rejections. No share is allotted to them. Second, those who applied for 10,000 shares, company has given 10,000 shares. Has given 10,000 shares. Okay. Full allotment here, full allotment, full means 1:1. Those who apply for 1, they will get 1. Third, those who applied for 20,000 shares or 25,000 shares, company has allotted them suppose 15,000 shares. Company has allotted them 15,000 shares. So what is the proportion? Proportion is 25:15, means 5:3. Those who apply for 5, they will get 3 shares. Okay, remaining is how much? Remaining is remaining is 40. Yes, remaining is 40. So those who applied for 40, they will get only 15. So here the proportion is what? Proportion is 40:15, means 8:3. Those who applied for 8, they will get 3 shares. So total number is here 80. Number of share applied is 80 and number of share allotted is 40. So in case of oversubscription, this application money or application of some of the applicant will be rejected and application money will be refunded. Maybe some applicants money application will be accepted but allotment will be done on pro rata basis. Maybe some applicants money application will be accepted and allotment will be done full, means in the ratio of 1:1. So this is the internal policy of the company, and which will be given, which is clearly mentioned in the prospectus of the company, how the company will do the allotment. Maybe first come first served basis, maybe first come first served basis. Under the first come first served basis, allotment may be done like this: applied is 80, and offer is 40. So company cannot accepted or allotted more than the offered number of shares. Suppose first come first serve. So first 40,000 is allotted 40,000 and rest 40,000 is rejected. First come first serve. So first 40,000 has given full, thereafter whose application money has come, their application is rejected and money will be refunded. So there may be the under subscription and over subscription. So under subscription is what? When the number of share applied is less than the number of share offered by the company for subscription. And just opposite is oversubscription, when the number of share applied is more than the number of share offered by the company. So here when the number of share applied is more, but company cannot allot more than the number of share offered by the company. Here the company has offered 40,000 shares, however company has received the application money on 80,000 shares, but company cannot allot more than 40,000 shares to the public. And in under subscription, company all calculation will be done on the basis of number of share applied, because number of share applied is less than the number of share offered. So all calculation will be on the basis of number of share applied. Okay. Now come to the next subtopic in issue of shares, calls in arrear. What is calls in arrear? Calls in arrear means when the company called the amount from the public and from the shareholders and shareholder didn't pay the amount, then it becomes calls in arrear. It is due. Company has called the amount from the shareholder, but shareholder didn't pay the amount. For example, in calls in arrear, suppose number of share issued by the company is 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each, which is issued by the company. Public has applied for the same number, for instance, means number of share issued and number of share applied is same. Now this 10 rupees company is going to call in this way, in this manner, on application to allotment 3, first call 2, and second and final call 3. Total it is 10. So 10 rupees is called by the company in installment. Okay, the company has called right from application to final call. But one shareholder holding 400 shares, for example, holding 400 shares, didn't pay the first call money. This money is not paid. By whom? As one shareholder holding 400 share, whosoever the shareholder is holding 400 share, did not pay the first call money. But when the company made the final call, rupees 3 per share, he paid all the arrears. So the entry, just see the entry. First I am talking about the application and allotment. There is no problem in these two entry. Bank account debit for application, bank account debit to share application account. Okay, first entry. Second entry, share application account debit to share capital account. What will be the amount? 10,000 shares into application money is how much? 2 rupees 2. So 20,000. Bank account debit to share application 20, and this share application will be transferred to share capital. Here no problem. Second entry for allotment, share allotment account debit when it is due, share allotment account debit to share capital. This will be 10,000 shares into allotment money is 3. So this entry will be for 30,000. This is also all right. Here everybody has paid up to the allotment. Bank account debit to share allotment, no default. Share allotment, here up to allotment there is no default. So 30,000 will be realized. Company will get 30,000. Now here the calls in arrear. From the first call is the calls in arrear point. For one shareholder holding 400 shares did not pay the first call money. So first we do the entry for due, share first call account debit to share capital. We do the entry for the due, being first call money due on 10,000 shares at the rate of rupees 2 per share. First call is 2, so 20,000. Now when come to the arrear, here in the first call 400 shares, a shareholder holding 400 shares, he did not pay the amount. So bank account debit, calls in arrear account will be opened. Calls in arrear account debit to share first call. Share first call will be credited. Share first call account. Okay, share first call will be credited with 20,000, which is debited over here. Share first call, this will be credited by the same amount. Now come to the calls in arrear. Who has not paid? One shareholder holding 400 shares, he didn't pay the first call money. First call money is rupees 2 per share. So he has not paid 800 rupees. So 800 is the calls in arrear. Rest amount will be in the bank. 19,200 will be in the bank. Otherwise everybody has paid. Everybody has paid means out of 10,000, if 400 has not paid, it means 9,600 has paid. So 9,600 into 2. Okay, so 19,200 will be in the bank. Yes, this is the calls in arrear account will be debited. Now thereafter, but when the company made the final call, rupees 3 per share, this one, he paid all his arrear. He paid means this shareholder, talking about this shareholder, he paid all his previous arrear. So first final call entry is what? Share second and final call, share second and final call account debit to share capital, to share capital. So final call is 10,000 shares, 10,000 into final call is 3. So it is 30,000, entry for 30,000. This entry for 30,000. Is it clear? Entry for 30,000. Okay. Now next entry, bank account debit, when this money will be realized by the company or received from the shareholders, bank account debit to share second and final call. So second and final call amount is 30. He has received also the previous arrear. He has paid all his arrears. So calls in arrear which is credited over here, this calls in arrear will be debited by us. Calls in arrears will be credit, which is debited over here will be credited by us. So it is 800. So total amount in the bank will be 30,800. 30,000 is of the amount of second and final call, and 800 is the amount of calls in arrear, because this amount is received. In the first call this amount is due arrear, but in the second call, when the company made the final call of rupees 3 per share, he paid all his arrear, means this shareholder has paid all the arrear. So calls in arrears which is debited over here will be credited, and this money will be realized. This money will be realized. Now see the next example. See the next example of calls in arrear. Suppose number of share issued and subscribed is 10,000. Number of share issued and subscribed is 20,000 shares. Okay. Application, on application rupees 20, company will take the 100 rupees, take this 100 rupees in installment. Company will take this 100 rupees in installment. On application 20, on allotment 50, on first and final call. First is the last call. That's why first and final call is 30, total 100. So company will take this amount in installment. Now Mr. X, who is the one of the shareholders, holding 500 shares, did not pay the allotment and final call money. He did not pay the allotment and final call money. Now pass journal entry. So journal entry for application is very simple. Bank account debit, to share application, bank account debit to share application account. So share application, in this the amount will be, number of share is 20,000 and application money is 20 rupees. So 20,000 into 20, it is 4 lakhs. 4 lakhs. So in the bank the company will get 4 lakhs. 20,000 into 20 rupees application money. This share application money will be transferred to share capital account, because application money is the part of share capital. Okay, to share capital. This 4 lakhs will be transferred to share capital. Is it clear? This is these two entries for application. Now come to the allotment. Allotment money is how much? 50 rupees. First we do the entry for due. Allotment money due. So share allotment account debit to share capital. To share capital. So number of share is how much? 20,000 is the share into allotment money 50. So 20,000 into 50, it's a 10 lakhs. 10 lakhs. 20,000 into 50. Okay? It is 10 lakhs. Is it clear? Now, bank account debit. Here, there is a calls in area. Mr. X holding 500 share did not pay the allotment. So this 50 rupees is not paid by Mr. X, and Mr. X have 500 share. Mr. X has holding 500 shares. So bank account debit, calls in area will be debited. Calls in area to share allotment. To share allotment. So share allotment will be credited with that amount which is debited, 10 lakhs. And area amount will be decided. Who has not paid? Mr. X holding how many shares? 500 shares, and he has not paid the allotment money. Allotment money is 50. So it is 25,000. 25,000. So rest money will be in the bank. Rest money how much? Out of 20,000, if 500 is not paid, 500 is not given. So how many shareholder has given? 19,500 shares into 50 rupees per share. 50 rupees per share. So 19,500 into 50. Is it clear? Into 50. So 9,75,000 will be in the bank. 9,75,000 will be in the bank. Okay? Or you may directly deduct 25,000 from 10 lakhs. You deduct 25,000. You will get this amount, or this amount can also be calculated by you from this total number of shares. You deduct those who are the defaulters. 500 shares is not paid the allotment money. So 19,500 shares the company has got rupees 50 rupees per share. So 19,500 into 50. Now come to the share first and final call. First we do the entry for share first and final. It means it's the last call. Final call, account debit to share capital. So amount will be 20,000 is the shares into 30 rupees is the first and final call. So it is 6 lakhs. 6 lakhs. In first call also, the same shareholder, Mr. X, holding 500 share, did not pay the allotment money and final call money also. So bank account debit, calls in area account debit to share second and final call. Second and final call which is debited, that is 60,000, will be credited over here. Now we'll decide the calls in area. Mr. X is not paid. X holding is 500 share, and the first call money is how much? 30 rupees. He has not paid 30 rupees. 500 into 30. So 15. It is 6 lakhs. No? It is 6 lakhs. 15,000. 15,000. 30,000 into 500 into 30. 500 shares did not pay the final call. Final call is 30. 500 into 30. It is 15,000. It means in the bank, if you deduct 6 lakhs minus 15,000, so it is 5,85,000. 5,85,000. This can also be calculated. Out of 20,000 shares, 500 is not paid. 500 shares is not given. So only 19,500 shares has given the first and final call amount rupees 30. So when you multiply it with that, you will get this figure. ठीक है? you will get this figure. So calls in arrear account will be debited, and when the calls in arrear is recovered, when the defaulter paid the amount of calls in arrear, then on that time bank account will be debited and calls in arrear account will be credited. When the calls in arrear is given by the defaulter, then on that case the bank will be debited and calls in arrear will be credited. It means we are going to cancel the calls in arrear by crediting the calls in arrear account. So this is about the calls in arrear. Now next subtopic is calls in advance, calls received in advance. Next is calls in advance. Next topic, calls in advance. What is calls in advance? When the company call the money from the shareholders and shareholder pay the money, apart from that call he pay the money in advance of the future call which is not yet been called up by the company. If company is not called up but the shareholder has paid that money in advance to the company, that is called calls in advance. Suppose the number of shares issued and subscribed is 10,000 shares of rupees 100 per shares. Okay, company call these 100 rupees in this way in installment, on application 20, allotment 30, first call 20 and second and final call 30, total 100 it is. Company may call this amount in this way. Suppose company is calling this amount in this way in installment. Mr. X holding 200 shares paid the amount of calls at the time of allotment. At the time of allotment, when the company call for the allotment money, Mr. X paid both the calls amount at a time at the time of allotment. Mr. X holding 200 shares paid the amount of call money, amount of calls means these two calls, first call and second and final call, paid the amount of calls at the time of allotment which is not been called up by the company. Call money is not called up by the company, but at the time of allotment Mr. X has paid the amount of first call and the amount of second and final call as well. It means calls paid in advance, calls paid in advance to the company. This comes under the balance sheet in equity and liability side under the heading current liability and subheading other current liabilities. Okay, this will reflect in the balance sheet under the heading current liability and subheading other current liabilities. Okay, other current liabilities. So when the company call for allotment and the shareholder pay these two money at the time of allotment, then it is called calls in advance, calls paid in advance. Okay, so here I am taking that one example. Mr. X holding 200 shares. Mr. X hold how many shares? 200 shares, paid the amount of calls, means call money, at the time of allotment. So it's a calls in advance. Another shareholder, Mr. Y, holding 100 shares, did not pay the amount of second and final call. This is the case of calls in arrear. Company has called but shareholder has not paid. Company has not called but shareholder has paid, then it is a calls in advance. Company is not called but the shareholder has paid in advance, then it is called calls in advance, calls paid in advance by the shareholder. And company has called but shareholder didn't pay that amount, then it is called calls in arrear. Is it called? Difference between calls in arrear and calls in advance? Company called but shareholder didn't pay, then it is calls in arrear. Company has not called but shareholder paid that amount in advance. Company is not called but shareholder has paid that amount in advance. This advance money will only be accepted by the company when it is so authorized by its article of association. Is it clear? The amount of future call is received in advance by the company only when under the section 50 of the Companies Act, such amount of calls in advance can only be accepted by the company when it is so authorized by the article of association. When it is so authorized by the article of association. So is it different? Difference is clear? So now do the entry. First entry is what? Bank account debit to share application. Okay. So number of share is how much? 10,000 shares. Here the issued and subscribed is same. So 10,000 shares into application money is 20. So it is 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs. On application, the company will get 2 lakhs rupees, 10,000 into 20 rupees per share on application. Then the share application account will be debited to share capital, 2 lakhs. This will be transferred to share capital. Next entry, share allotment account debit to share capital, to share capital. In allotment, number of shares is 10,000 and allotment money is how much? 30. So 10,000 into 30, it's 3 lakhs. 3 lakhs. Okay. Bank account debit to share allotment to calls in advance. Calls in advance. At the time of allotment, one shareholder has paid the calls money in advance. This one, Mr. X, holding 200 shares, paid the amount of calls. Paid the amount of calls means these 2 calls. Amount is paid at the time of allotment. Okay. So allotment is debited over here is 3 lakhs and the shareholder holding 200 shares, he has paid these 2 amount in advance, 20 plus 30, 50 rupees. Calls in advance is how much? 50. 20 rupees of first call and 30 rupees of second and final call. So total 50. So it is 10,000. So in the bank 3,10,000. 3,10,000. Is it clear? 30 plus 20. 30 rupees for $200 shares into 20 for first call and 30 for second and final call amount is paid. Okay, final call amount is given. Is it clear? So it is 10,000. Next is share first call account debit to share capital. Number of share is 10,000. This one and first call amount is how much? 20 rupees. So it's a 2 lakhs. It is due. 2 lakhs is due. First we pass the entry for due. Then we'll receive the amount. Bank account debit. Here the calls in advance which is credited over here related to this 20 rupees which is credited in advance. This will be debited. Calls in advance. Calls in advance will be adjusted. First, the money which is received in calls in advance related to first call will be adjusted at the time of first call. So at the time of first call, this will be debited to share first call. To share first call. So share first call will be credited with 2 lakhs. This one credited, and calls in advance 200 shares of 20 rupees. This will be adjusted over here. 4,000 will be adjusted. So in the bank 1,96,000 amount will come in the bank. Okay, this 20 rupees first call amount which is received in advance at the time of allotment, these 20 rupees will be adjusted at the time of first call when it is due. So this will be received. So this will be debited over here, which is credited this side. This will be debited and rest amount will be collected by you, because that's he is already paid. Mr. X is already paid 4,000 rupees, 200 into 20 at the time of allotment. So he will not pay that money at the time of allotment. He will pay this much money only be received. Same thing we will do at the time of second and final call. Share second and final call. Second and final call to share capital. This is the entry for due, to share capital. Okay, so 10,000 shares into final call amount is how much? 30 rupees into 30. So it is 3 lakhs. 10,000 into 30, 3 lakhs. Now bank account debit. And this calls in advance, 30 rupees calls in advance, which is received at the time of allotment, will be adjusted at the time of second and final call. So calls in advance will be debited over here. Calls in advance, okay, will be debited. And one shareholder holding 100 share didn't pay the amount of second and final call. So here it is a calls in arrear. Calls in arrear to share second and final call. Okay, so second and final call, this amount 3 lakhs will be credited, which is debited. Now come to the calls in advance first. Calls in advance 30 rupees, which is related to the second and final call, 200 into 30, 6,000 will be adjusted over here, which is credited over here, will be debited by us related to this amount, which is related to second and final call amount. Now this calls in arrear will be debited. And Mr. X, why holding 100 shares, he didn't pay the second and final call amount. Second and final call is how much? 30 rupees. So calls in arrear is 3,000 is the calls in arrear. So in the bank you will get the rest amount 2,91,000. 2,91,000. Rest amount will be in the bank, 2,91,000. Is it clear? Is this entry clear? So calls in advance means company has not called from the shareholder, but shareholder has paid the amount in advance to the company. When the company received such advance, only when it is authorized through the article of association. Okay, only it is authorized by the article of association, and this will be reflected in the balance sheet under the head current liability, subheading other current liabilities. Calls in advance, okay, and calls in arrear will be in the notes to account under the capital, share capital, and this will reflect in the notes to account in the share capital. Okay, so is it clear? Calls in advance and calls in arrear. What is calls in arrear? Company has called the amount but shareholder didn't pay it. It is calls in arrear. What is calls in advance? Company has not called but shareholder has paid. Company has not called but shareholder has paid the amount in advance to the company. Then it is called calls in advance. Calls in advance is a liability, and company only received this amount from the shareholder when it is authorized by the article of association under section 50. Okay, when it is authorized by the article of association, it is a current liability. Okay, it is shown under the other current liability. Heading will be the current liability and subheading will be the other current liability. And calls in advance, when it is received, this will be adjusted when that calls comes. Here when the first call comes, then the first call advance money is debited. When the second call comes, then second call money advance is debited over here. So out of this 10,000, 4,000 is debited over here and 6,000 is debited at the time of second and final call. Now next is interest on calls in advance. If the shareholder has paid the money in advance to company, then company will pay the interest on the money given by the shareholder in advance. For instance, for example, suppose the application date is, suppose I am writing the date of application. Application date is 1st January, year is 2020, April 1st, okay, 10 rupees. May 15 is the date of allotment, it is 30 rupees. June 15, this is the first call date, first call, that is 20 rupees. And July 15 is the second call, second and final call date, final call. So it is, suppose this is also 20, so it is 30, so 100 rupees. Okay, these are the call date. Application date is of 1st April, allotment date is 15th May, it is 15th June, it is 15th July. Suppose once shareholder has paid the amount of these two at the time of allotment, calls paid in advance, calls paid in advance when at the time of allotment. Suppose the Mr. X holding 100 shares, and he has paid, Mr. X holding 100 shares and he has paid first call money and second call money at the time of allotment. So how much money he has paid at the time of allotment? Advance money 100 into 50 rupees, 5,000 rupees paid in advance to the company at the time of allotment. At the time of allotment, company has not called first call and second call. Company has called only allotment, and along with the allotment money, Mr. X paid the amount of first call and second call as well at the time of allotment. So calls in advance is 5,000, 100 shares. Mr. X have 100 shares. So 20 plus 30, 50 rupees he has given in advance to the company, means total advance given to the company is 5,000. When we calculate the interest, this 5,000 interest will be calculated. Suppose the rate of interest is 10%, so 10 upon 100. Suppose the interest rate is 10%. So date we will take from 1st May to 15th June. It's a 1 month. So we will calculate the interest for 1 month only here. Okay. Now when it is come 15th June, so in 15th June this much amount will be settled. This much amount means 100 into 50 which was received in advance on this date on 15th June. Out of that, this amount will be adjusted. 100 into 20 will be adjusted. Means 2000 is adjusted. Now remaining is how much? 3000. Now the next interest will be 3000 at the rate of 10% from 15th June to 15th July, 1 month, 1 by 12. So we'll calculate the interest and we'll do the total of these two interests. Okay, this way we calculate the interest. So interest on calls in advance from the date of receipt of the advance money, date of receipt of the advance money till the date when the call is due for payment, till the date when the call is due for payment. First call money is due over here. So from this date to this date is your calls in advance up to 5000. Now after adjustment of 2000 of call money over here, now the period is 1 month and this is for 3000. You have to calculate for the rest amount. So first information is what? From the date of receipt of advance till the date when the call is due for payment. This will be the period we will take it for calculation of interest. Second is article of association specify the rate of interest on calls in advance. We have to refer article of association to know the interest of calls in advance. So article of association specify the interest on calls in advance. If article of association is silent or it is not mentioned in the article of association regarding the rate of interest on calls in advance, then table F will be followed as per schedule 1 of the Companies Act 2013 and the maximum rate will be 12%, and this totally depend upon the board of directors. So if the article is silent, article of association is silent or it is not specifically mentioned in the article of association, then we will follow table F of schedule 1 of the Companies Act 2013, which says that maximum rate of interest on calls in advance will be 12% maximum, and this will be decided by the board of directors of the company. Next is interest on calls in advance is considered as a charge against profit. So whether the company earn profit or suffer any loss, in both the cases company have to pay interest on calls in advance to the shareholder, because it's a charge against profit. It's a charge against profit, and no dividend will be payable on calls in advance, because calls in advance is not the part of share capital. It is a current liability. It is not the part of, if any shareholder has paid the money in advance against the shares, then that is not the part of the share capital. That is the part of our current liability, which is shown under the heading current liability and subheading other current liability. It is not the part of the share capital. That's why no dividend will be paid on the amount of calls in advance. So these are the few things you have to know. So first thing is that interest will be calculated from the date of receipt of that advance money till the date due, till the date when it is due for payment. Up to that period we will calculate the interest. Second is article of association specify the rate of interest on calls in advance. Third is if article of association silent or it is not mentioned in the article of association anywhere, then table F of schedule 1 of the Companies Act 2013 will be followed, and as per that the maximum rate of interest is 12% per annum, and this power is given to the board of directors. It is leave up to the board of directors that you decide, but maximum interest should not exceed 12%. And interest on calls in advance is a charge against profit. It means that whether the company earning profit or suffered any loss, whatever the condition may be, company have to pay interest on calls in advance. And no dividend will be paid by the company on calls in advance, because calls in advance is not the part of the share capital. It is a current liability and shown under the heading current liability and subheading other current liabilities. Now next subtopic is interest on calls in arrear. We have discussed the interest on calls in advance. Now next is interest on calls in arrear. If there is a default in payment, company has called but shareholder has not paid the amount on the till the specified date on time, okay, then the interest will be charged by the company. Interest will be charged by the company on calls in arrear amount. But this interest on calls in arrear must specify in the article of association. So we have to refer the article of association of the company and to see whether the rate of interest on calls in arrear is given or not. If it is given in the article of association, then we will calculate the interest on calls in arrear as per the given rate in the article of association. But if the article of association is silent, then on that case, Table F of Schedule 1 of the Companies Act 2013 will be applicable, and as per Table F, the maximum rate of interest on calls in arrear is 10%. And this will be decided by the Board of Directors. The Board of Directors have a power to waive off or charge part of it. It's totally the discretions of the Board of Directors that they will waive off the interest or they will charge the interest, but the interest should not exceed 10% per annum. Is it clear? Interest on calls in arrears should not exceed 10% per annum. If the article is silent, then it should not exceed 10% per annum, because as per Table F, Schedule 1 2013, this right is given to the Board of Directors by the Companies Act. But one thing is mentioned by the Table F, that the interest should not exceed 10% per annum. Now the Board of Directors will decide the rate of interest. It may be 10%, it may be 9%, 6%, or if the Board of Directors want to waive off, then they may waive off, or if the director want to charge partial, then they may charge the partial interest. But if it is mentioned in the article of association, interest on calls in arrear, then the interest on calls in arrear will be calculated as per the rate specified in the article of association. Okay. Now next subtopic under the issue of share is sweat equity shares. Sweat equity shares is issued by the company to their directors or employees of the company. Sweat equity shares are issued by the company to its employee or directors at a discount lower than the market value or lower than the nominal value for consideration other than cash. No cash is taken from the employee or from the director against the issue of the sweat equity. So sweat equity is issued to the employees of the company or the directors of the company at a discount for consideration other than cash, for providing know-how or making available intellectual property rights. If anything is contributed by the employee or directors for the company any things which is very valuable intellectual property rights or know-how, so against that company may issue the sweat equity to the director or employees of the company. The lock-in period is 3 years. Before 3 years they can't sell these shares to the public. Lock-in period is 3 years. Okay, lock-in period is 3 years. So company may issue the equity shares at a price lower than the nominal value. So company may issue the equity shares as per section 54 of the Companies Act 2013. Section 54, company may issue the sweat equity shares as per the section 54 of the Companies Act 2013. Is it clear? Sweat equity shares are issued by the company to their employee or the director of the companies at a discount. Or for consideration, at a discount for the consideration other than cash, for know-how. For what? For providing know-how or making available the intellectual property rights. So if such contribution is done by the employee or by the director for the company, then company may issue the sweat equity as per section 54 of the Companies Act. Sweat equities are normally lower than the nominal value. Lower than the nominal value, or you can say lower than the market value. Okay.